Hi, I'm Heather Vitale for Harness Racing Update. Joe Holloway's name is synonymous with the legendary pacer, Jennas Beach Boy. However, the trainer is anything but a one-hit wonder. In fact, Joe has conditioned so many champions, he has now earned a place in the Harness Racing Hall of Fame. And each year, he is sending out standouts that are topping the charts. 2019 looks to be no different. Joe, normal people remember things like when the Berlin Wall came down, when a president was shot. But me, I remember where I was on June 22nd, 1996. And I was at Ocean Downs watching Jennas Beach Boy go on 147-3 at the Meadowlands and watching on simulcasting. And when that happened, I knew I saw something so special. In fact, everyone in the place just erupted with screams. It was amazing. Do you remember the way that you felt that night?
Well, yeah, for sure, because I was in the driver's room at the Meadowlands, and Jen had been like Rainbow Room this year. Started off real slow. He got beat he won, but he won at Pocono. He got beat his first 3 starts. And I actually stopped with him for a couple weeks, took 3 weeks, qualified him. Then we went to Mohawk. Then he comes back to the Meadowlands. Now, we'd been down to the 3/4, like 120 or something. One other time, and Riyadh was on our back. And he went right by, and I forget, 148 in a piece or whatever, but just went right by. And we were on top, and they're like 119-4, I think it was, or whatever. I said, but we're a little bit tighter this week. And Jenna just kept going.
It really, really was spectacular. I will never, ever forget that. And of course, Jenna is my favorite Joe Holloway horse, but you've had so many that you've trained. Divine Caroline, Badlands Hanover, She Be Stingin'. Do you have a favorite Joe Holloway horse?
Yeah, and you're not even going to guess it, so.
Well, tell me. That's what we're here for.
Florida Jewel. It's right after I left David Rovine, and you know how that's going to go. When I leave, if I don't do any good, people are going to say it was all David. If I do good, just people are going to talk. And it was nothing even like that, but you need a good horse. He came along at the right time. And also at that time, I didn't have that many, and I was able to go to Europe with him. We went back and forth. They had a lot of money to spend back then, and they flew me over on Thursday, back on Monday. Thursday, back on Monday. And Sweden, I stayed for the week, and then back to Denmark for Thursday to Monday. And it was a good time, got a lot of publicity, and he put a lot of horse in my barn.
That's great. He was the one that really put you on the map, so that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I had Tudor Scooter, he was in there and stuff, but Florida Jewel, like we came here, we raced in the International. He finished 3rd in the Elite lot. Took 2 decent horses to beat him. It was Peace Corps and Mac LaBelle.
Oh, yeah, I might have heard of them.
Yeah. But besides that, he beat the rest.
Now, let's talk about some of the horses that you're training now. Rainbow Room, you mentioned her, a fantastic 2-year-old, had off at 3, and now she looks really good this year. What's her deal?
Well, we don't know. We're going to find out for sure. Like I said, she started off slow, but she had broke a coffin bone in May of last year or April of last year. And so she missed her whole 3-year-old season. Had quite some time off. So let alone making the graduation from 3 to 4, she's basically jumping from 2 to 4. And it's a little bit tougher. Last week she raced good, but it was a field of horses she's supposed to beat. But she at least did it. The best thing I liked about the race is she pulled and she hesitated, and then all of a sudden she went by, and it seemed to be getting stronger until she went by like, oh yeah, I can do this. So I'm hoping to see more of the same this week. But unfortunately, if we don't see a solid performance, she'll probably get turned out and bred.
Okay.
Well, we're not going to just race her to race her. So, but I mean, she's one of my favorite horses, and I think it's there. But we got to see it. I can't be not fair to her and the owners, I'm not going to just race her to be in non-winners of 17.5.
It's probably going to mention she is a daughter of Rainbow Blue, who was a horse of the year. So
Right. And her sister, I really liked her sister, Somewhere Over Rainbow, and she was super fast. So I'm partial to the family.
Okay. Now let's talk about Funkin' Waffles. He's 5 this year, and he's new to your barn, right? And he's made a lot of money.
Yeah, he made a lot of money. He second or third in the jug. I forget. John Bootenchain had him and stuff. He made a lot of money as a 3-year-old. Little tough transition for him. He's a little guy. I mean, he is a little guy, and he's pretty nondescript horse, but he's a pretty neat horse. I mean, he does do his job and everything else, so he's fun to have, and probably half mile and 5/8 are much more his specialty than the big track, because like I say, he's a pretty small horse.
Now we're going to move to our 2-year-olds. We're going to start out with some trotters here. Stay Close. Tell me a little bit about this one. And this is a Father Patrick, a $100,000 purchase from Lexington.
Yeah, actually, we bought he and basically a sister to him. It's out of a sister to him, so it's the same family. Father Patrick, she cannot make a face like a horse, and he's great. I mean, so her claim to fame is going to be being his sister. So if he does good, she'll be a broodmare. But he's a nice colt, and been quite a bit. Only thing between now and then to know how good is going to be the baby races. Only bad things can happen now. You know, and they go. He's got speed. I've been enough, so we'll find out.
What about Ava Kathryn? This is a Muscle Hill, and a lot of people always say if you're going to have trotters, you got to have a Muscle Hill in the barn.
Well, that's it. Them and Father Patrick's boys. I mean, it's like trotters for dummies. You know, they just go. You know, way back when I won the Yonkers Trot a long time ago, and horse had 4 different shoes on. Those days have gone by. You know, horses don't. They're pretty natural. So.
And we're going to move to our pacers now. Disco for a $1. Yes. I'm all about that name.
Well, I like her. She's, and I mean, it's an absurd analogy, but she reminds me of like Always B Miki. You know, you remember, well, you said your family's farm when Brian Bowen broke Mickey. And like he hadn't even liked him, but Mickey was just all legs and gangly and probably like Michael Jordan in the 6th or 7th grade, you know. And then when I got him, I could see he had speed, and he had trouble with 2 making breaks, but he could never quite control himself. And that's this filly. She's all legs and body, but when she grows into herself, I think she's going to be okay.
What about Closeau? I'm a little confused. There's a bunch of name changes going on with this horse.
Well, Marty Granoff would probably change my name also if he could. So he just likes changing names, and I don't think we've stuck on Closeau yet. His name was Bluebird Domini. We'll probably come up with another one before it's time to baby race.
But you like him, right?
He's very nice. He's an Always a Virgin. I mean, I like Always a Virgins, but he's the best one I've got in the train. Well, no, I take it back. I trained Mickey.
Yeah.
But
I was just going to say, excuse me?
No, but most of the ones I bought, he's been, Mickey was gifted to me. He was a homebred. But this is a very, very nice colt.
We have another Always a Virgin, because you've got some Indianas here. Mr. Courage, let's check him out.
We really liked his video. We liked everything. Actually, Marty Granoff and I flew out there to look at him and stuff, and I liked him. He's coming along. He worked at his gait in the beginning, and I was kind of disappointed because I thought he was pretty athletic. But he's been down there now, and he's coming along.
And he's out of Fashion Mystery. It's a first foal for her. And then this one we're going to talk about, we also have a first foal. Ladies Laker is the dam, and it's Yaira.
Yaira, Marty Granoff's granddaughter. That's the name. So she's been a really nice filly. She was my best filly early on, but maybe because she's small and precocious. Right now, a couple of them are catching up to her. I mean, she's not as good as Artistic Genius or Soap Beach and stuff like that, but she's still a very nice filly.
Artistic Genius, you just read my mind. We're going to check that one out. Another first foal out of Sawyer.
I race Sawyer. It's a family that Marty and George are partial to. What's new? I've had Ideal News, Diver Space, other horses like that. It's been a prolific family. They did the Dave McDuffie thing. They sold Sawyer to Hanover and then paid them more for the foal than the...
That happens.
It happens, but she looks very, very good. And like I said, only thing can, if something goes wrong, otherwise we'll see how good she is when she races.
Next is Silk Beach, a Somebeachsomewhere, and actually the mom is Silky. This is her 8th foal. The first 7 looked really good.
Yeah, but they haven't been over the top. They've been expensive horses and haven't been over the top. And you know, Marty and stuff, they keep telling me I overpaid for her, but we'll find out. I just loved her at the sale, and I had to have her, and maybe I did overpay. But fortunately for me, she's starting to come along. She hadn't had the best of attitudes early on, but that can go with some of the Some Beach fillies. And but that's what I got to do, find out what makes her happy and have her go forward, because I don't want to listen to them if I'm wrong.
It's important to keep the fillies happy anyway.
Absolutely.
So you know all about that, right? Because you're a filly man.
Well, no, but I've had some good fillies, but that's what you have to do. You got to find out what makes them. You're not going to force them into doing anything.
That's right. All right. And talk about fillies. I'm too hot to stop a Some Beach. The mom is Artstopper, and she's kind of a big deal.
Well, she is, and she's talented. I don't like her name because she is a little bit hot, but that also, she's a Some Beach sister to Always B Miki. She's pretty talented. Miki was, and You're Gonna Kiss Me or Not. The others in the family, not so much, but those two have been pretty good. And as far as that, she seems like the real deal so far.
How many do you have total in 2-year-olds?
14.
Okay. Now, are there any that have really surprised you? You brought in the barn and you weren't really keen on at all, and now you're like, ha.
Ava.
Okay.
I liked her in the field. I liked her. I liked her brother. I liked everything about her, and she really had a mind of her own. And and she didn't want to do it. Didn't want to do anything, and then she just kept coming along, and now she's going pretty well, and I like her. So we had quite a few battles before that.
It looks like you're winning, and that's the important thing.
Well, she's winning at the moment, but at least she's going. So.
Okay, so on a scale from 1 to 10, where are you going to rate your stable this year for 2019 coming up? What do you think it's going to be?
Well, I thought it was the best shot I had at all the divisions because I thought Rainbow and Funk could make some money. Now, so far, Rainbow disappointed me some, but like I said, I had hopes after last week that she's going to be what I thought. And then, the 3-year-olds, I have Starita and Zero Tolerance. And she's a pretty good horse. And Starita's bigger and better than last year. I know we got to race Woodside Charm, but we can do some damage against a lot. She's been really, really good training. And then I got Lucius Varenas. He's a nice sire stake horse. He's racing Battenberg, who we paid $200 for last year. So I got some 3-year-olds, and then the 2-year-olds, I like what I got. I mean, if there's basically 6 that I really like, I think I got 3 that are tops. If they can stay that way, then it'll be a good year. Mm-hmm. So, but now these are interesting when it's February because there's nothing to talk about. Right now, you pretty well know. You just got to hope you get there. And then you race them, and you get to the head of the lane, and one you thought you trained down that's really good, all of a sudden they're collared and they're back forth, and you go home and a couple of cheeseburgers, a couple of bottles of wine, and forget about it. That's why I look like this.
Well, you sound pretty hopeful, though, overall. We're going to say scale from 1 to 10, we're going to say an 11. How's that?
All right, we'll go with 8 or 9.
Okay. Thank you, Joe, for being on Twos in Training.
Okay, talk to you.
I hope you enjoyed our visit to Gaitway Farm in New Jersey to talk with Hall of Famer Joe Holloway. I'm Heather Vitale for a Harness Racing Update.
Harness Racing Update is the sport's most comprehensive and trusted news source and the fastest growing publication in the game. HRU has you covered with award-winning features and commentary from some of the sport's best writers. Stellar photography, race news, results, entries, handicapping, and video replays. The industry's most comprehensive sales results and Harness Racing's best reader feedback section. And it's all delivered free of charge to your email box multiple times each week. See why HRU is the most trusted news source of the sport's most important people from all facets of the industry. Subscribe today for free. To subscribe, just go to harnessracingupdate.com and then click subscribe for free.